Good day. Thought I'd give you a few tips on getting started on your decorative painting project. Maybe you're a beginner, or maybe you just need a refresher, or someone who's had to hang up those brushes for a while and you're now just getting back to it. So I have this wood cutout ornament that I'm going to be painting on. It's pretty smooth. I like the way it feels. But if you have any rough edges, whatever, or just to get it down a little bit, I like these sanding pads. You can get them at pretty much any painting store. I just like to smooth down that grain, just to get a smooth coverage. I'm going to use the back of an already used palette, and yes, I use wax paper. It's what I started with when I first learned how to paint. It's what my teacher had us do, and that's what I continue to do. It's inexpensive, and I don't feel guilty when I have to throw it out. So I want my background on my ornament to be red, and reds are very transparent. So I am going to use a more opaque red as my first base coat. So I'm going to put some of that out. And I'm sure you know that you really need to seal your wood before you start painting. And it depends what color I'm using, but today I'm going to use sorry about that, picked up the wrong bottle. Josiah's all-purpose sealer. And I'm going to mix this in with my first base coat color. So I'm going to do 2 steps at once. I'm going to put out about an equal amount of the sealer as I did the paint. And I'm going to mix those together. That's good enough for a base coat. And I like to use, when I'm base coating, a filbert brush. Mine is old and worn and used, and again, something I like to use when I'm just base coating, but I like the filbert. Mine is, hope you can see it, it has the rounded bristles on it. And that, if you use the square flat shaders, they kind of dig into the paint. This does not do that. So I'm going to dampen my brush in my water, and I'm going to press it down on my paper towel. This brush in particular, since it's a 3/4 inch brush, really holds the water. So I really need to get that excess moisture out. I'm not going into the middle of the puddle and getting a blob of paint, because that's going to show up and not be good on my wood. I'm coming in from the side of the puddle, pressing down as I load my brush. Going to flip the brush over and do the same thing on the other side. I'm seeing a lot of moisture in here, so I'm just going to blot it on my paper towel a little bit to get the excess out. I always start in the center and pull out. Don't pick up too much paint. Can always reload. Again, in the center. Oops, got some dried up bits there. This must be an old bottle I picked up. But that's okay, we'll take care of it on the next step. I gave that a good dry, and I'm going to take my sanding pad. I'm going to gently sand it to get the wood grain down and to lay down any of those dried pieces of paint that were in my paint bottle before. Now, if I thought I needed more coverage, I would do another coat of this red, but again, you can see the opaque red really covered quite well. So I'm just going to go in with my base coat. Again, I'm going to just wet my brush, blot it on my paper towel. Again, very critical that you load from the side of the puddle and press down as you do that. You do not want blobs of paint on your surface. And again, starting in the center and pulling out. I'm not going to worry about paint on the part where the hanger is, because I'm going to paint that a different color. So it's a good place to hang on to it. If you think you need a second coat, go ahead and put a second coat on. If not, you're ready to go. After it's dry, before I put my pattern on or whatever, again, I always give it just a quick, light sand, just to get that grain back down and remove anything that shouldn't be on that surface.